Hi, my name is Chris Hines, and if you're watching this, it's not by coincidence, nor is it by happenstance. It's not even because of your algorithm. It's because of your destiny and because of your purpose. It's because it's time for us as a people to come together and recognize who we really are. And so I wanted to take a moment and share with you three signs that you are closer to manifesting a miracle than you have ever been. But before I jump into that, I want to invite you to be a part of Above and Beyond. What is Above and Beyond? It's a safe place, it's a spiritual community for people who are not necessarily religious and certainly those who are not tied to a building, but for people who understand that there is something more to life and that you were designed to live your life at the very next, but most importantly, at the very best level. So it's a no judgment zone. And like I said before, it's a safe place, safe space, but it's also a spiritual place. And I want to be a part of that. I want to help to cultivate your spiritual relationship with God or whoever you call it. I want you to recognize that there's something very important and significant about you. And perhaps our relationship, our journey together will help pull you into that next place. With that being said, let's jump into the three things. The first thing I want you to understand is that life is not about performance. It's about purpose. It's not about us making something happen. And so if you think for one second that your work or your labor, that you can actually force something, that's not really manifestation. That is manipulation. And so the first thing I want to remind you of is that we don't make anything happen. And most of the time, our frustration is because we're connected to a desired outcome and not really trusting that God is going to produce that which is best for us. And so I'm really not talking about three signs that you'll know when you're doing something that's going to produce something. Most of the time, I'm talking about three signs to know that you are aligning with that which already is. As a matter of fact, that's a very important factor and component of what I want to share with you, that everything that you need is already done and everything that you desire, it already is. It's not a matter of us perfecting to perform or to receive it. It's a matter of us simply aligning with who we were created to be so that it can naturally flow to us. So the first thing I want you to recognize is that when you start feeling the outcome before it shows up, I can't stress to you enough how important it is for you to recognize that God has 1 million point trillion point gazillion ways of getting to you that which you desire. And most of the time, the reason why we don't get what we desire is because we're so frustrated because we think that it has to happen a certain way. But I want to release you from that. I want you to consider that what you want wants you even more than you want it. And it's not really a matter of antagonizing it or wanting it so aggressively that it shows up or working so hard for it. Because quite honestly, the harder you work, the harder it is. But it's about recognizing that it wants me and it's going to show up to me and show up with me rather at the perfect moment and the perfect time. Mark 11 and 24 says, when you pray, believe that you have already received. It's something about recognizing that it is already yours, that you'll know that it's only a matter of time. Second thing is that old situations, circumstances, and people just start falling away. Maybe there's a friend that you've always had or family that's always been close, but all of a sudden, as you seem to be matriculating and developing, and the word I like to use is transforming into who you were always supposed to be. All of a sudden, relationships aren't working the way they used to work anymore. And sometimes it is our natural instinct for us to try to hold on to that which we've always had. But may I suggest to you that in order to have what you've never had, you've got to become what you've never been. And what you become determines what can stay and what doesn't stay. And so while it may be painful for certain people or places or things to no longer resonate with you the way they used to, it's also important for you to grieve those things knowing that we don't sorrow as a people with no hope. We grieve knowing that on the other side of transformation is always life and that life more abundantly. And then thirdly, you'll notice synchronicities increasing or coincidences increasing. I use the word coincidences because it's easier for us to kind of understand, but there's really no such thing as a coincidence. Our steps are ordered. Our steps are already designed for us. And when things start working out effortlessly, that's because we're living purposely. I'll say that again. When things are working out for us effortlessly, it's because things are working or we're living things out purposely. And so I just want to encourage you and remind you of something, that you're not an accident. You're not here by happenstance. As a matter of fact, you are a spirit. You just so happen to have a soul and you're living in your body. Everything that we see comes from what we can't see. And that which we can't see is more real than that which we can see. It may be a lot to hear right now, but the truth is, everything that we are experiencing physically is really an illusion. It is a manifestation of that which is going on inside of us. If you don't go within, you will go without. Again, my name is Chris Hines, and I want to help you. I want to help cultivate your spiritual relationship. I believe that when we understand who we are, every area and level of life needs leadership. Not leadership in the sense of someone telling you what to do and telling you where to go and telling you what you can't do and telling you what you can't do, but more so in the spiritual sense where we're cultivating a relationship with God, a universe, a source, whatever you want to call it. We're cultivating that relationship, and it needs guidance. And most importantly, it needs community. And that's what we're building. If what I've shared with you resonates with you and you've been looking for a place and a space just like this, I want to encourage you to text above and beyond to the number 1-833-489-7101. Again, text the words above and beyond to the number 1-833-489-7101. We'll follow up with you and help you to onboard and be a part of this community. It doesn't cost anything. The only thing it's going to cost is the life you had for the life that you want. Until next time, remember, we don't just go, we don't just have, we go beyond.